73-year-old Delphine Hargrove stood in her Seattle living room last April, and for the first time in decades, she felt a creeping sense of panic. Every surface, tables, counters, shelves, was buried under piles of things she thought she needed, or that she had collected just in case. Her grandmother's silverware, souvenirs from trips she barely remembered taking, stacks of unread letters from years past, all of it pressed down on her, a silent weight that made breathing feel harder, mornings feel longer, and decisions feel impossible. The problem wasn't just clutter. It was the way it hijacked her mind, turning what should have been sanctuary into a maze of stress and overwhelm. And yet, amidst the chaos, she stumbled upon a Japanese approach to minimalism so simple and so life-changing, that by the end of this video, you'll see why studies show nearly 2/3 of American seniors now view cluttered homes as not just annoying, but a genuine health risk. Before we dive into Delphine's transformation, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on your own home. That drawer you never open, that stack of papers that grows every week, that coat you might wear someday, how often does it steal your attention without you even realizing it? If this resonates, don't just scroll past, hit that HYP button now. You get 3 hypes a week, and each one helps this message reach another senior who is silently struggling under the weight of too much stuff. And while you're at it, subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors. We bring research-backed, practical advice for those of us 60 and over, because your life experience deserves guidance that actually understands what it feels like to live, love, and age in a world cluttered with both objects and obligations. Right now, across America, an invisible crisis is quietly unfolding. Between 2025 and 2030, over 4 million more of us will reach 80, and the homes we've lived in for decades are starting to work against us instead of for us. The walls haven't changed, the roofs haven't collapsed, but our bodies, minds, and routines have. Cluttered, oversized homes that once felt comforting are now increasingly recognized as a health and safety risk. Recent surveys reveal a striking shift. Nearly 2/3 of Americans aged 65 and older now see aging in place amid piles of belongings not just as inconvenient, but potentially dangerous, a dramatic turnaround from only 5 years ago. Delphine's story is a mirror of so many lives. She collected like most of us do, the tiny souvenirs from every family vacation, her children's finger paintings preserved in folders from decades past, closets crammed with outfits she might wear someday, 3 full sets of dishes she never used, stacks of books still unread. Her home was not a hoarder's nightmare, it was the accumulated evidence of a life fully lived. But by 2025, it became a daily obstacle. Every morning, she spent 20 precious minutes hunting for her glasses, her daily medications, her phone. By the time she found them, the day had already begun with a sense of defeat. It wasn't just the lost time. The mental load, the constant visual reminders of unfinished tasks, of things that should be done, of memories both joyous and bittersweet, was manifesting physically. Delphine's blood pressure climbed. Her sleep felt restless. Her patience frayed, and even small decisions felt exhausting. Walking through her own living room, she was confronted by the tangible weight of decades pressing down on her, like invisible chains made of things. This is the hidden burden many seniors experience but rarely discuss. A home can feel like a cage even when it is filled with comfort and history. The irony is cruel. Our treasured objects, once sources of joy, can silently steal our peace, our clarity, and even our health. And while each item tells a story, the cumulative effect becomes a daily stressor. Have you felt this? That invisible weight of too many things pressing on your mind and your body? Share your experience in the comments below. Tell us what item, or room, feels like it's quietly robbing your calm. Every story matters here, and every comment is read. You might even discover that just by naming the burden, you've taken the first small step toward reclaiming your space and your peace. Delphine discovered 5 Japanese concepts that, when combined, created a complete system for reclaiming her home, her time, and her peace of mind. Each idea wasn't just about tidying up, it was a philosophy for living intentionally, especially for seniors who carry decades of memories and possessions. Idea 1. Mottainai, letting go without guilt. Mottainai is an old Japanese term that literally translates to what a waste, but its modern application in minimalism goes much deeper. It's about respecting the value of objects by ensuring they are used, appreciated, or passed on to someone who truly needs them. For American seniors in 2025, this is revolutionary because our generation was taught to hold on to everything. "You never know when it might come in handy" was a mantra ingrained into us from childhood. But holding on can create invisible burdens. Delphine's mother's fine china sat in a cabinet for 40 years. Every time she saw it, she felt a twinge of guilt for not using it, yet she couldn't bring herself to give it away. Mottainai reframed her thinking: "This beauty is being wasted here, but it could bring joy to someone else today." When she donated it to a young couple beginning their married life, the relief was immediate, guilt transformed into joy, and a sense of connection blossomed. The plates were no longer trapped by memory, they were alive, serving a purpose again. Mottainai also applies beyond physical objects. Delphine realized she was wasting mental energy on items that reminded her of what could have been rather than allowing herself to enjoy the present. Letting go became a form of self-care and liberation. This week, pick one category: kitchen tools, clothing, or books, and examine each item. Ask, am I honoring this, or am I imprisoning it? If you haven't used it in a year, consider letting it go. Imagine it finding a new home where it can actually bring happiness. This small act can lift a hidden weight you didn't even realize you were carrying. What's one thing you've been holding on to purely out of guilt? Share your story in the comments. This isn't just a discussion, it's a chance to release a little of the mental weight and see how others in this community are doing the same. Each story adds perspective, encouragement, and a reminder that we're not alone in learning how to let go gracefully. This first step, Mottainai, isn't about decluttering for appearances. It's about reclaiming emotional space, creating joy through giving, and reconnecting with the life you actually want to live, free from the invisible chains of what ifs and obligations to things that no longer serve you. Idea 2. Danshari, the 80% rule. Danshari is more than just a decluttering method, it's a philosophy rooted in intentional living. The term comes from 3 Japanese characters: Dan, refuse; sho, dispose; and ai, separate. At first glance, it sounds simple, but the transformative power comes from the mindset behind it. The breakthrough principle that changes everything is this: aim to release roughly 80% of your belongings and fully cherish the remaining 20%. It's not about deprivation, it's about prioritizing what truly enriches your life. When Delphine first confronted her home, she felt paralyzed. The thought of touching every room, every closet, every drawer at once was overwhelming. She worried she'd make mistakes, regret decisions, or feel like she was discarding memories. Danshari gave her a structured way forward. Step 1, refuse. She learned to consciously say no to things she didn't need, gifts she didn't want, or items that were replacing what she already had. Step 2, dispose. She identified possessions that no longer served her, not with guilt, but with gratitude for the joy they had once brought. Step 3, separate. She detached emotionally from items that didn't spark delight, recognizing that memories aren't confined to things. Delphine began small, her kitchen. She had 3 sets of dishes, 17 spatulas, and countless utensils she rarely touched. By following Danshari, she kept only the dishes she loved using and the 3 spatulas that felt just right in her hand. Each morning, cooking felt lighter, simpler, and almost joyful. The kitchen no longer weighed on her mind, it became a space she could inhabit peacefully. What surprised her most was the mental clarity that came from physical simplicity. Less truly was more. Choose one drawer, cabinet, or corner this week. Empty it completely and examine each item. Ask yourself, have I used this in the past 6 months? Do I genuinely enjoy it? Items that pass both tests can return. The rest, donate, recycle, or responsibly discard. This isn't a punishment, it's an act of self-respect and intentional living. Small, deliberate steps like this create momentum that spreads to other areas of your home and mind. What room in your home feels the most overwhelming right now? Is it your kitchen, bedroom, or perhaps the office? Comment below, we want to hear where your challenges lie, and sharing helps you visualize taking the first step toward reclaiming that space. Danshari teaches a vital lesson: Clutter isn't just physical, it's mental and emotional. By consciously choosing what stays, you give yourself permission to focus on what matters, to surround yourself with items that bring ease, joy, and functionality, and to finally feel at home in your own space again. Idea 3. Kaizen, the 5-minute daily reset. Kaizen is a Japanese philosophy that translates to continuous small improvement, and in the context of home organization, it's deceptively simple yet profoundly effective. Unlike a massive decluttering marathon that leaves you exhausted and unmotivated, Kaizen emphasizes small, consistent actions that gradually reshape your environment and your habits. In Japanese households, families often practice a 5-minute evening reset, returning items to their proper places before bed. It's not about deep cleaning or perfection. It's about rhythm, consistency, and honoring your living space with tiny acts every day. When Delphine first heard of Kaizen, she was skeptical. 5 minutes seemed almost laughably short. Could such a brief ritual really make a difference after decades of accumulated clutter? Yet, she committed herself to 1 week. Every evening at exactly 8 p.m., she spent precisely 5 minutes putting things back. Letters into the basket, the TV remote into its drawer, her reading glasses on the nightstand. She resisted the urge to overthink or overclean. The goal was simply to create a pattern, a small but meaningful pause that brought order before sleep. By day 4, Delphine noticed something remarkable. Her living room stayed consistently clear, and the anxiety she'd felt walking past piles of mail and half-finished projects began to dissolve. By the end of week 2, the reset had become automatic, a comforting ritual rather than a chore. By month 3, she couldn't remember the last time her home felt chaotic. What had seemed insignificant, a mere 5 minutes, had grown into a cornerstone of her peace. Kaizen also includes a powerful 1-minute principle, particularly useful for seniors. If a task can be done in 1 minute or less, do it immediately rather than procrastinate. Hang a coat as soon as you remove it, put the dishes from breakfast straight into the dishwasher, or place the mail into its folder instantly. These tiny actions prevent clutter from accumulating, and they steadily reduce the mental burden that comes from delaying small tasks. Set a phone alarm or reminder for the same time each evening. Dedicate exactly 5 minutes to returning items to their homes. Don't worry about perfection, focus on rhythm and consistency. Over time, your home will reset itself daily, leaving you with mental clarity, a sense of accomplishment, and a living space that supports rest rather than stress. Can you imagine dedicating just 5 minutes tonight to create this habit? Share in the comments how you think a small nightly reset could change your mornings or your mood. Small steps often lead to the biggest transformations. Now, the next idea Delphine learned is the one that surprised her most, and it has everything to do with how you handle loss, memory, and letting go in a way that heals the heart rather than just the home. Idea 4. Mono-no-aware, appreciating impermanence. Mono-no-aware is a Japanese philosophy that translates roughly to the pathos of things. It captures the bittersweet realization that everything in life is temporary, and in its impermanence lies both beauty and liberation. For seniors, who carry decades of memories in the form of objects, this principle offers profound emotional freedom. It teaches us that clinging to physical items does not preserve the past, it can actually weigh down the present. Delphine experienced this deeply with her late husband's belongings. For 15 years, she held onto his clothing, convinced that letting go would mean losing him all over again. Every suit, shirt, and sweater was a tangible link to the man she loved. Yet the items themselves could not hold the memories, the laughter, or the love. Mono-no-aware reframed her perspective. The memories aren't in the objects. They live inside me. The suit does not contain his love, I do. With this realization, she was able to make space for both remembrance and peace. She began by keeping one meaningful tie, the one that reminded her of a favorite shared memory, and a single photograph of the two of them. The rest, shirts, suits, and jackets that had accumulated over years, were donated to a veterans organization, where they could serve others in need. The relief was immediate and profound. The act of letting go didn't erase her love or memories. Instead, it transformed her grief into gratitude, allowing her heart and home to breathe again. Mono-no-aware teaches an essential lesson. Impermanence is not something to fear, and objects do not define the depth of our love or our experiences. Accepting that everything changes, that objects and even routines are transient, brings a sense of liberation and clarity. Homes feel lighter, minds feel freer, and seniors can begin to reclaim spaces that have long been weighed down by guilt or sentimentality. If you're holding on to belongings from someone you've lost, identify one item that truly captures the essence of that person or memory. Keep it as a tribute. Then allow the rest to leave your home, giving those items new life and purpose. This simple practice honors the past without imprisoning you in it. Are you ready to try the 1 in, 2 out approach this month? Share your plan in the comments. Accountability and support from this community make it easier to release items thoughtfully, transform your space, and reclaim your emotional freedom. By engaging in this practice, you aren't just decluttering, you're actively embracing the natural flow of life, honoring memory while creating room for peace. Idea 5. Inyo-Onyo, the balance of empty and full. Inyo-Onyo is a Japanese principle closely related to the concept of yin and yang, but applied to the home environment. It's about creating harmony between positive space, where objects reside, and negative space, areas left intentionally empty. For seniors who grew up believing every shelf, counter, and surface should be filled, this idea can feel revolutionary. Inyo-Onyo isn't about minimalism for the sake of minimalism, it's about balance, flow, and the mental clarity that comes when your environment reflects calm rather than chaos. Delphine's home was once a landscape of constant visual stimulation. Every shelf held books, vases, or trinkets. Counters were crowded with appliances, containers, and memories. She believed that empty space was wasted storage, a lost opportunity to showcase items she treasured. Yet, despite the abundance, she never felt settled. She was surrounded by her possessions, but the presence of so many items created tension, a subtle pressure she carried unconsciously throughout her day. When Delphine learned about Inyo-Onyo, she began experimenting. She left one kitchen counter completely clear, creating a visual and functional breathing room. In her bookcase, she removed half the objects, leaving empty shelves between remaining items. Each empty space became purposeful, a place for the eye and the mind to rest. The transformation was startling. Her rooms felt twice as large, more open, and lighter. She discovered that when physical space is balanced, mental space follows. The cluttered sensation that had once been constant vanished, replaced by a sense of calm she hadn't realized was possible in her own home. The psychological effects were equally powerful. By intentionally creating empty areas, Delphine noticed she felt calmer, more focused, and less overwhelmed by decision fatigue. She could appreciate her belongings more because each one had room to exist meaningfully, rather than being lost in a sea of things. Inyo-Onyo allowed her to see that empty space isn't absence, it's opportunity, clarity, and freedom. Take a careful look around your home. Identify walls, shelves, corners, and surfaces that are crowded. This week, choose 3 surfaces to clear completely. Leave them empty on purpose. Notice the effect on how you feel. Does your mind feel lighter, your mood calmer, your home more inviting? Small, intentional pockets of emptiness can dramatically shift the energy of your space and create a sense of control and peace. Which of these 5 ideas feels most achievable for you this week? Comment the number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Sharing your choice helps build accountability, encourages others, and reminds us all that reclaiming space, both physical and mental, is a journey, not a one-time task. Each of these Japanese ideas offers a tool for seniors to live more intentionally, with environments that support well-being, clarity, and ease. By October 2025, just 6 months after embracing the 5 Japanese minimalism principles, Delphine's life had undergone a profound transformation. Her 2,400 square foot house, once crowded and chaotic, now felt expansive and airy. The rooms that had felt like a maze of memories and obligations were now open, inviting, and easy to navigate. She had donated roughly 40% of her possessions, but remarkably, she couldn't think of a single item she truly missed. What had once seemed essential now felt unnecessary, replaced by clarity, calm, and purpose. When her adult children visited, their reactions were deeply emotional. They didn't cry because the house looked empty. They cried because their mother seemed lighter, more focused, and fully present for the first time in years. The constant background stress that had silently weighed on her, misplaced items, cluttered surfaces, and the mental load of what needs to be done next, had lifted. Delphine's mornings were no longer frantic searches for glasses, pills, or her phone. Instead, she moved through her home with ease and intention. The changes weren't just psychological. Her health improved in measurable ways. Her blood pressure dropped by 15 points, she slept more soundly, and she found herself sharper, more alert, and able to engage in conversations without distraction. Activities she had abandoned out of frustration, like hosting her monthly book club, returned naturally, because her home now supported, rather than hindered, social connection and joy. Research from 2025 confirms what Delphine experienced firsthand. Seniors who live in decluttered, intentionally arranged environments report lower stress levels, better sleep, enhanced cognitive performance, and up to 30% fewer fall-related injuries. These aren't just statistics, they reflect real improvements in daily life. Fewer frustrations, more energy, and the ability to focus on relationships, hobbies, and experiences instead of possessions. Delphine's journey illustrates a powerful truth. Minimalism is not about deprivation or losing memories. It's about reclaiming space, physically, emotionally, and mentally. By letting go of what no longer serves, she gained far more than she lost: freedom, peace, and the confidence to fully engage with her later years. This transformation shows that intentional choices about our surroundings can profoundly improve health, well-being, and quality of life for seniors everywhere. The Japanese secret to a clutter-free life goes far beyond simply tossing possessions. It's a mindset, a philosophy, and a deeply respectful approach to living with intention. After 60, 70, or 80 years of accumulating memories, treasures, and just-in-case items, many seniors feel trapped between nostalgia and practicality. The secret lies in recognizing that your home should serve you now, not the person you were decades ago, or the imagined scenarios of tomorrow. Objects are meant to enhance your life, not weigh it down. This approach transforms the way we think about possessions. It's not about deprivation or creating an empty, sterile space. Instead, it's about making deliberate choices, keeping what brings joy, utility, or meaningful memories, and releasing what no longer serves. It's about reclaiming the freedom to move through your home with ease, waking up without the mental drag of clutter, and ending each day with a sense of calm rather than overwhelm. Imagine starting your morning without hunting for glasses or medications, opening cabinets that reveal only what you truly need, or entering a living room that invites you to relax instead of triggering a list of unfinished tasks. This is the payoff of intentional living: clarity, peace, and the freedom to focus on what matters, connections with loved ones, hobbies, and the simple joys of daily life. The beauty of this philosophy is that it acknowledges and honors your life experience. Every item you choose to keep has meaning, and every item you release is not lost, it's being given a new purpose elsewhere. Your home becomes a reflection of your current self, not a museum of past obligations or fears. Are you ready to try even one of these Japanese ideas? Pick one principle, whether it's Mottainai, Danshari, Kaizen, Mono no Aware, or Inyo-Onyo, and commit to applying it this week. Share in the comments which one you'll start with. Taking a single intentional step is all it takes to begin transforming your environment, reclaiming your space, and creating the peace you've earned over a lifetime. If Delphine's journey struck a chord, if you saw yourself in that living room weighed down by decades of belongings, I want you to take 3 simple but powerful actions right now. First, hit that HYP button again. You get 3 hypes per week, and each one amplifies this message to another senior who might be struggling silently with clutter. This isn't just a video, it's part of a growing movement to reclaim peace, clarity, and joy in our later years. Every single hype could be the reason someone else finds relief and the courage to start their own journey. Second, like this video and subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors. We deliver advice that's specifically designed for life after 60, research-backed, practical, and tailored to the realities of our stage in life. No recycled tips for younger audiences, no one-size-fits-all advice, only strategies that truly make a difference for your daily life, your home, and your well-being. Third, share this with a friend or loved one who needs it. Send a text, an email, or post it on social media. Chances are, someone you know is silently drowning in clutter and doesn't know where to begin. Your small act of sharing could give them the spark to reclaim their space, their time, and their mental calm. Remember, the Japanese have practiced these principles for centuries, cultivating homes that support peace, focus, and well-being. Delphine proved they work for American seniors in 2025. Her transformation is proof. You don't need a new home, a bigger budget, or perfect circumstances to experience clarity. You need intention, action, and the courage to start. Your clutter-free life is waiting. And it begins with just one small step today, one drawer, one corner, one nightly reset. Take that step, embrace the principles, and watch how calm, joy, and freedom gradually fill your home and your life. You've earned this peace, and there's no better time to claim it than right now.